Hello and welcome. I'm Possessed Pixie, and today is Friday. And for us, that means it's a Folklore Friday video today. And today we're going to be doing 4 short stories or short folktales from the state of Maine. And I say 4 with a question mark because the first 2 it's like 2 parts to the same road, but they're very interesting and we're gonna just get right to it, I think. I usually do my makeup at the same time just to help me relax and have fun while I do this. So without further ado, let's get on in there. Route 182 in Maine has a short stretch of road that runs through the Blackwoods, and this area of the road is called the Blackwoods Road. This road lies on top of a small mountain that the locals refer to as Catherine's Hill. Over hundreds of years, people have passed down a story of a ghost girl who haunts the side of the road, allegedly named Catherine, which is why the hill is called Catherine's Hill. The legend says that Catherine was on her way home from a dance hall, most likely during the Prohibition era, on a snowy night in January. The driver of the car, potentially her boyfriend, husband, a man, lost control while driving, and Catherine was said to have died instantly. Catherine is supposedly forever trying to find her way home, which then leads to the encounter, the tale that most people believe to have with the ghost, which we'll get into. But to kind of further this belief in Catherine, when they were said to have lost control of the car, it was believed that they crashed into Fox Pond, and people say that at the bottom of the pond there is a old Ford down there. They believe that the driver and Catherine just must have been going too fast, or since it was icy and snowy, that it caused them to lose control of the car. But unfortunately, they somehow found their way into the icy pond. The folklore says that Catherine appears on the side of the road of the woods on Catherine Hill, and she's looking for a ride through the woods, either allegedly towards Ellsworth or Bar Harbor. They say if you refuse Catherine a ride, you will never make it home or make it to your final destination safely, alive even. Those who do pick up Catherine avoid that terrible fate of death, but they are also forced to endure her cold, eerie company until she just dissipates from their car seat. And then the driver who picked her up can take her, or can make it home or to their final destination. When I was doing some digging on Maine folklore, I came across a Reddit post that was essentially sharing a tale, but also asking other Maine residents if they've had an experience or if they knew anything about what they encountered. And other than this Reddit post, I actually couldn't find any other information on this encounter or folktale. Even the OP mentioned that they couldn't find any other information on it, hence why they ended up making the post, but that they had only heard of the tale coming from some of the older folk in the community. The people who told the OP about this folk tale were at a gas station called Tideway. And the same night of the OP hearing the story is when they had an encounter. The OP was told to beware of the so-called devil truck, which ran along the same area as Catherine's Hill in the Blackwoods area of the road. The OP left the gas station not really believing much of what the older folk at the gas station had said, but within about 3 miles of having pulled out of the gas station, the OP noticed that a truck turned out behind them from a different road. They were traveling at about 50 miles per hour on Route 182, and the car just followed the OP's car. And the truck followed this car for about 25 minutes when all of a sudden the truck sped up and rammed into the back of the OP's car. Obviously, the OP wasn't expecting this, and it sent their car spinning, and they ended up hitting a tree, which then they hit it so hard that their car flew back across the road and ended up hitting the guardrail that protected Fox Pond. OP got out of the car and was trying to look around for the truck, but it was nowhere to be seen, and they didn't know what happened to it. It was just gone. Shortly after the incident, one of the older folk from the gas station who told the OP about the tale actually was driving past and stopped to help and make sure the OP was all right. While helping, the OP said, "Must have been going too fast. The devil truck doesn't like speeders." The OP hadn't seen a speed limit sign in that area at first, but they went over to go check the tree that they hit, and actually on the ground was a speed limit sign that said 45 miles per hour. And as we know, the OP said that they were going about 50. So only 5 miles per hour over, but it was enough to supposedly upset the devil truck. And on this post, there weren't a ton of comments, but the few that were there were really validating this poster's experience and was talking about the devil truck, and some had their own experiences but didn't super elaborate on them, or that they had grown up knowing to beware of the devil truck and speeding on the Blackwoods road stretch of Route 182. A forest creature with origins that are believed to start around the 19th century in the Maine lumberjack folklore is the Tote Road Shagmaw. This fearsome creature is said to be half bear and half moose. Its hind legs are said to be that of a moose, and the front half is that of a bear with big paws and claws. It has sharp teeth, moose antlers, and tiny little horns, and the short little stubby tail of a bear. The big part of the Tote Road Shagmaw's folklore is that it is believed to alternate which legs it would walk on for about 440 paces. The goal was to confuse hunters or anybody who was trying to track the animal to figure out what it was, by walking on its back two moose-like legs and then switching to its front paws and essentially doing a handstand to walk for 444 steps. I guess people were able to conclude that this creature was doing it, but it was deemed to be a entity of like great stealth and mischief. This creature was believed to have a particular hunger for cloth and would often destroy any type of laundry or clothing or linens that were left out by anyone in the area, like the locals and the loggers or the lumberjacks. Apparently, the creature was also said to restrict itself to a particular diet, which included the cloth and also garbage and berries and things like that, but could attack humans. And the tote road shagama, I think I've been saying it wrong this whole time, is said to be mischievous and deceptive and stealthy and may eat a human hand if it attacks a human, but usually it is being deceptive and not being tracked by humans, but would eat the cloth and garbage, berries, smaller animals, sometimes pets, etc. There haven't been many alleged attacks except for one. A man named Hal Johnson claims to have been attacked by the tote road shagama, though he managed to escape and beat it due to his proficiencies in hunting and fishing. Johnson went on to write, I believe, a rendition of a book called Fearsome Creatures in 2015 and talked about this attack. There once was a schooner boat called Dash that was built in Freeport in 1813. And hence the name Dash. It was said to be one of the fastest ships. It was said to be one of the fastest and most feared ships in the War of 1812. The Porter brothers who built this boat designed her, Dash her, to be fast. So that way she could evade British warships that blockaded the Portland harbor. Her very first voyage was a trading mission to Santo Domingo, where she traded New England goods for coffee. Dash was set upon by a British warship, but she lived up to her name and her speed by being able to quickly escape. After 2 more successful smuggling trips and not getting caught, Dash's reputation grew, and in 1814, President James Madison sent word that the owners of the ship could use it to attack British ships, and it is actually said that Dash and the crew captured up to 15 British warships and never lost a man. On a snowy January day in 1815, having not yet received word from Belgium that the war was over, the Dash and her crew engaged in a playful race with a fellow privateer that was called the Champlain. The 2 ships sped out of the Portland harbor. Dash easily outran the other ship, but as she sailed off into the distance, a nor'easter blew in, which is essentially a really big crazy storm, and the ship vanished without a trace. For centuries, reports have been made by sailors and locals that the ship just merely appears out of fog and then simply vanishes into thin air. Some people also believe that the Phantom ship is the lost ship of Captain Chase, who was said to make a deal with the devil for speedier voyages. Sightings of the ship are believed to be an omen for impending storms and even disasters at sea. And that's about all I have today for the 4 short folk tales of Maine. If you live in Maine and have any other folklore that you know, please share down in the comments. I would love to hear it. I just kind of narrowed it down to these 4 stories that I wanted to share, but I know there's plenty more. Oops. So yeah, let me know any other Maine folklore. Also, if you are feeling really eager about hearing a couple folk tales from your state, let me know in the comments below and I can get on that. Let me do my lips real quick and then I will officially close out this video. All right, and that's about it from me today. The lighting on the camera looks very different than the lighting in real life. I like the way I look a little bit more on camera. I think the makeup looks better. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today and hearing about these folk tales. I plan to do more videos soon, so if you want to hear about your state, like I said already, leave that down below. If there's any folklore that you're interested in me researching anyway, you can also leave that down below. And again, thank you so much for joining me, and that's it. I'll see you all soon and love ya. Bye.